Y'all, we have finally made it to the halfway point in the season. Everybody is officially merged on the same beach together, and things are about to get messy. This was really the first time that everybody was in danger, so we really got to see how they actually played. And some people continue to stand out amongst the rest as others start to fade into the background a little bit. I'm excited to talk about all of that, but before we get started, please make sure you hit that subscribe button below if you have not yet, just so you can stay tuned as we continue through with this season. Now, let's get started. So, of course, this episode kicks off with the new Siva tribe coming back to camp after last tribal council. Of course, Sei is immediately pissed at Cedrek because she's just assuming that he was the one that voted against her last time, which we all know that's not really how it went down. And at this point, honestly, Sei is starting to become a bit of a crash out, but I'm not gonna lie, I still love it all the same. I would definitely consider her to be a villain of the season, but I say that with love because you need villains, first of all, and she's a really fun one to watch. Now, eventually Cedrek is able to tell her how everything really went down and how he really only had enough time to inform Chrissy of the plan, which does make a lot of sense when you think about the way the votes ended up shaking out. I do feel like Cedrek is genuinely riding for Sei at this point, but at the same time, I can't really blame her for being sus because he has burned her before in the past. As they say, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Next up, we see all the players getting news of the merge one by one, and of course everybody's excited because this is a huge accomplishment in the game. This is where we hear a confessional from Kyle talking about all of the allies that he's been able to make along the way, and this part really stood out to me because it really reminded me just what good of a spot Kyle's in. He really has been highlighted since episode 1, really, of being this fantastic social player, and as the episode continues, it looks like things just get better and better for him. Mary and Sei also have an interesting reaction once they're both merged together. Sei is really excited to see her frenemy again, but Mary, on the other hand, seems to still be recovering from playing with Sei the first time. Now, it doesn't seem like Sei is able to clock this right now, which I really hate for her social game. Like, even later on in the episode, Mary is coming for Sei a little bit, and I'm not sure if Sei really knows what's all going on there. So, yeah, right now, Sei's social game is kind of sucking at the moment, and it is about to get worse, but hey, for now, at least she is able to find the advantage to the next immunity challenge. We also see Joe and Eva reunite to lock in their numbers, and this is where we're going to start to see this new majority alliance start to form. It's literally just Eva and a bunch of bros because, of course, we all know she's the resident guys girl. The heart of this group seems to be Eva and Joe, with Shauhin as kind of a third wheel, and then Kyle seems to be fourth in line, and David is on the outskirts, if we're thinking of this thing as an onion type of alliance. They also say that they would want to work with members of Siva as sort of temporary numbers, which would give them the majority. And right now, we're not really seeing any other big groups rise and form like these are yet, so they have a decent shot at making a long run for it, but it probably won't be that easy. As we see, Kyle is included in this group without Kamilla, and I don't think he's just gonna stand by and leave her behind just to be a number on their side. I mean, I guess it's possible that he might, but just given what we've seen so far, it's really giving that Kyle and Kamilla are locked in too. I just hope that something is able to get in the way and shake this group up, because even though all these guys are totally fine so far, this alpha male bro type of alliance is just not what I get excited about watching Survivor. And some of them even start talking about all this honesty and integrity stuff, which is just annoying and eye roll inducing in a game like this to me. So we shall see where this group ends up going, but I just don't think it's gonna be a seamless run all the way to the end. There is also some more drama in this game when Charity decides to just start coming after Eva. Now, we heard in the last episode about how Eva didn't really like or trust Charity because she thought she was fake and shady. And apparently that feeling is mutual because now Charity is out there pushing Eva's name hard. She is just out there telling everybody about Eva's idol, and she's even trying to get Star to take it back from Eva. It is really all a hot mess out there, and I appreciate Charity's effort. I really, really do, but it's like, girl, come on. Charity just has never seemed to have any pull in this game whatsoever, and everything that we've seen from her edit so far tells me that this is going to be a losing battle for her. Eva just clearly has all this support and all these allies in the game, and Charity, not so much. And of course, no episode of Survivor 48 would be complete without a completely random weirdo ass segment about David. But this time it's just even more milk content, like literally the same exact shit that we've seen before. At this point, I'm just so confused by all this David stuff. Like, why is this segment even here? Why are we still talking about this? Is David gonna be important to this season or not? Like, what is going on? It's just weird, but it's so obvious at the same time. Now that everyone is acquainted, it is now time for the first individual immunity of the season, which is going to be played in 2 parts. During part 1, we saw Kamilla slay her team's puzzle and win them the merge feast, which was hot. And during part 2, we see Kyle slay that endurance comp and win himself individual immunity, which was even hotter. Kyle and Kamilla, that duo is just so cool, y'all. Like, how can you not stan? Now, I do have to note, and let me know in the comments if you caught this too, but during the challenge, when David is just standing there smiling, in the edit, you hear somebody call it a $1 million smile.
Ready for his close-up. $1 million smile over there. Yeah. $2 million biceps.
Which to me was definitely suspicious, but also, like I was saying, incredibly obvious. Like, is this really supposed to be some sort of winner's clue, or are the editors just trying to lead us astray and mess with us on purpose? I'm kind of leaning towards the second one, but honestly, I just really don't know. Back at camp, Charity's name seems to be the one that's mainly floating around, just because word of her being shady got back to Eva. The consensus just seems to be that she's the easy vote, and since she doesn't really have many allies besides Mitch, nobody is really coming to defend her either. Now, I am going to give Charity a little bit of credit because some of her effort does seem to be working, because there are a few people out there that do have Eva's name in their mouth just because she has that idol. See, last episode I had said that Star giving away her advantage may not have been the worst move in the world, and that it actually could end up hurting Eva more than it ended up helping her, even though I don't think that was Star's intention. But here we are with people like Say really, really wanting to target Eva now. But like we've already discussed before, Eva has a lot of allies and she's in that new majority alliance now, so it's really not going to be that easy. But all of this is enough to get Say put on that possible target list too, and now Eva is out there trying to gather all her guys together to vote out Say. And at this point, honestly, I'm starting to get really nervous for Say because that is a lot of votes. And Say doesn't really seem to have the numbers or allies to be able to match it. But there is going to be something big that's still getting in the way, and that's going to be this old sentiment of Siva versus Logi. See, the original Siva tribe still has all 6 members still in the game, which is probably starting to feel like a big threat to everybody else. And even though Charity's game is a little unhinged, she is still a certified part of that 6. So that right there seems to be enough of an incentive to push for Charity just a little bit more. And during Tribal Council, after we get through all the usual annoying metaphors, sure enough, we see that Charity is ultimately voted out. But just barely. It was a very close call between her and Say though. And I did call that I felt that those 2 ladies were next after last week's episode. The edit just hasn't been in either of their favors all season, but in the end, it seemed like people looked at that Siva 6 as just a little bit more of a threat than Say by herself. Now, I do want to talk about this rogue vote for Cedrek that Say decided to throw out because, girl, what the hell? Why cast a rogue vote when your ass is already on the line and the votes are already so close to call? Like, why? Like, I can't tell if she was trying to pin it on somebody or if she was just trying to get her lick back or what was going on. I am just hoping that they explain that more in next week's episode, but for now, Sei stays in the game. That girl has 9 lives. She really does. She is starting to give me Venus vibes just a little bit with the type of villain that she is, but I do mean as a compliment. I really do. Before we finish, I also have to point out just one last weird thing about David. During Tribal Council, they added this soundbite of David talking about being on the wrong side of the vote and how he would have to switch strategies if that ever was the case.
Numbers here, there's so many faces. And if you're on the wrong side of the vote, there's plenty of game left to change your strategy.
And later on, it is revealed that David is indeed on the wrong side of the vote here. I don't know what exactly that means, if anything, but it's possible that they are maybe trying to foreshadow some changes to David's gameplay. But I just wanted to highlight it since it was about David, and it also seemed a little unnecessary to add to the edit. It was honestly just a little weird to me, but if David does start to change this whole honesty and integrity shtick that he's been going with so far, then I'm definitely going to start taking him a little bit more seriously. But other than that, that is pretty much it for this episode. Overall, right now, I'm feeling the best about Kyle, Joe, and Kamilla as winners. And I'll throw David in there too, I guess, but honestly, I just don't know what to think of him right now. As for the people who just aren't doing so well, I sadly have to put my girl Sei on that list again. I could unfortunately just see her name continuing to be brought up again and again until she's just ultimately voted out. But also, there's people like Chrissy and Mitch too, who I'm just not sure are in this thing for the long run. Of course, I want to know, what do you all think of this merge episode, and who can you see making it far in this game? Let me know in the comments below. Overall, I thought this episode was pretty decent, but I do wish that they would have spent more time focusing on the alliances being formed and camp life stuff more than the actual challenge itself. Either way, I'm really excited to see what type of clues we're going to be able to recover in the next episode. Of course, I'll be back then to recap with you all. But until then, bye.